So everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is a build I'm making right in this moment, and I think I will not be able to complete very soon, even if the model is nearly there. You see, this is the main body of this is the alpha model Porsche 992 Rex gt3r. It is this kit that I'm building, and it's something to say about the kit. It's probably something that you already seen around, and there have been several different build-up of this model. Basically, overall, is a fantastic kit. They made an excellent work because the quality of the resin and the quality of the overall mold is simply fantastic. I want to show you it in my hands. The situation here about the build-up, and the fitting is basically perfect. I guess that they probably do this type of model after 3D printing, because it's really absolutely wonderful in the detail. As you probably seen from my previous video, I made a slightly correction in the front end of the model. As you see, the front end of the panel line of the bonnet is different, as well as that little NACA duct there is also not present in the original Alpha model kit. I honestly don't know why they trying to move just with one hand. I don't know really why they skipped the detail, because the rest of the model is absolutely wonderful, and also the overall assembly of all the parts is great. A simple trick to make it by your own, if you have this kit and you want to do the same stuff, I suggest you, before you assemble the lower part of the lip, simply to drill with a very big drill head until you nearly reach the front, the upper part of the bonnet, and simply dig probably with the scriber, I think, the main lines of the NACA duct, trying every time to copy the exact position, because it's not so easy. You have to be one line parallel to the external line of the bonnet, and the other one is little slighter in the direction of the front of the vehicle. It's not so difficult work. You have to be quite clean during the cutting, because it is a very visible area, so it's needing that it remain completely clean and without any irregular cutting. I simply placed a little oil color, oil black panel lining to evidence the line of this part of the car. For the remaining details, the model is really well done, and it's a pleasure really to work with. I just engraved a little more all the panel lines, because when I do this type of paints, I'm always scared that the paint takes away the details of the original model. Indeed, it's not just that you rescribe a little deeper all the lines from the car, so all the panel lines can be rescribed. As I mentioned in other videos, this is basically a lime green color from Tamiya. The green was a little bit not problematic, but a little bit interesting to understand how to properly fit. And I think in the range of the colors, why so hard now? Probably because it's glued. I think in the range of the color, this is basically light green is 15. This is basically the most suitable and the most precise color to do this if you want to paint in the airbrush. Otherwise, I used this color that was a can, which I prepared in Italy. Right now I'm in my Swedish facility to finish this model, which I could not do it because tomorrow I had to return in my country, so I cannot finish it for now. So I will probably finish it in the upcoming weeks, or when I'm back here. And well, yeah, it's very nicely done. To see the matching of the color, I hope that you can understand it. For example, the second round there on the inner side of the bonnet is painted with that color from Tamiya, with that X15, while the rest of the body is made with that lime green. So I think it's absolutely matching to the color of the same stuff. There is basically no difference in the tone of the two colors. They don't evidence that X15 to be exactly the same color of the can, but it match. You see, it really match. The inner part is not in definitive position. You have kind of a slide when you place it inside the position, and it's still not fixed. You know, I still miss to place inside the main dashboard with the steering wheel and the seat belt plus the seat in a white prime red interior, you know. Quite well done. Like all the racing kit, also this model have a little necessity of care about the roll cage, because it doesn't fit so perfectly like it is now, so you have to adapt a little, but it's extremely sensitive, like all the resin, exactly like the resin that I produce and sell. It's basically very easy to fix with an air dryer. So when you give the proper shape and position to the parts, it's not that you soften them a little with an air dryer. It's very easy procedure, you know. You don't need anything special to do the stuff, and make it fit completely, and it closes in the perfect position, you know. That bulge, they are the center of the wheel with a little angle cutted, that is the referring part for the brakes, you know. The rear of the brake parts is there, and they fit perfectly, and also the setup is absolutely taken. So basically the overall look is taken immediately. If you see all the buildings of this model, nearly always the total setup, the overall setup of the vehicle is completely taken. The car is exactly matching to the look that she's meant to have. I also place it in only one side, because that depends when they turn it on and off, the number plate during the race, you know. And at the end the model have been clear glossed anyway, even if the original paint was absolutely ready, quite shiny, you know, but not at the level that I wanted, despite that is always a kind of procedure that you do, even if it is probably, in my opinion, not so correct. When you see so glossy like a saloon car, is not so correct, because in reality the car is a wrap. So basically all the model is made in black carbon fiber with different pattern of the carbon fiber, and over there have a quite heavy wrap that probably is refixed every race, you know. So it should not be so glossy on it. The car should be a little flat, but you know, that is probably a kind of convention that we have during the build up of the model. So every time we try to make them glossy, and that's it. Very nice also the detail of the front lights. They made a huge detailing with all the separate front lights. This is specifically the LED lights. How do they call it? They have a special name, these LED lights for the modern Porsches, you know, and they are absolutely well done with all the 4 micro lamps made in clear resin, so it's very easy to fit them, and the fitting is absolutely perfect. As well as from the front headlamp, you see that the design of the 992 is slightly different. When you look at 991, the line of the bumper ends in the light and goes on. Instead, in the 992 is completely up, so it's a completely different car, you know. This to return on the matching video that I made about the differences between 991 and 992. And what else to say? Probably one of the nicest part ever that you will have in this model, together with the there is a lot of very nice detail. I think it's absolutely worth it to get one if you are into racers and you want such model, because really many details are absolutely well done. The wheels also, have a look here. I try to prepare everything even if it isn't still not fixed. I just added the valve. Down there is the valve. I hope you can see it. Micro valve. And they don't need neither to be cleaned so much. This car don't have huge wheels. They have ordinary wheels. They don't look so impressive like in previous GT cars, probably for regulamentations. And the detail is absolutely well done. They also provide a couple of different type of central bolt. These are the one made in 3D, but inside the box you will also find the one made in ordinary resin cast. There is a huge amount of extra details, like photo etch set. You see, this is the extra part that I just painted in black for the fast unlocker points, you know, that have to be placed. They are in position, they are photo etched. As well as this is probably something that I will not use, because I think that instead of using a photo etched set that they anyway provide with quite decent detail and raised sharp details all over, you know, I will probably just use them like a guide to rebuild them in tissue like they are in the real, on the real car. They are probably the same tissue of the seat belt, so I don't want to folder this photo etched set. I will probably just keep the hook and make them into position. You know, this is kind of net they have around the head of the pilot, probably not to make the head float around the hand and the hands to float around during ugly and heavy crash, you know. But they anyway provide this wonderful detail, as well as, I don't know if I placed the other one in another point, was another huge, because there is a lot of details. I'll find them here, I have somewhere. Ah, there it is. You see also all the choices for the brakes. Despite they are not so visible, there are different type of brakes which you can choose, because anyway they also provide you the decal if you don't like the Rexy version. Despite this is, in my opinion, one of the nicest livery ever. You can also go for an ordinary black car with red trim around the body. Very aggressive, very attractive, but in my opinion that is more suitable for a street car, you know, despite this is a racer. I saved here, you see also the frames coming from the side windows, and the rear light that have to be painted there is masked, you see, with tape, will be painted in red. So I think is absolutely great model. It was honestly a pleasure to build up. I think it took to me nearly 3 weeks now to do this stuff, working on a daily basis and without any hurry. It's basically just a pleasure. I didn't find any big issues. Yes, there is the little mistake on the front end, but every kit has his own mistake, and when it is just, when you know about that, it's quite easy also to correct it. You know, I was planning in the beginning to make my own series about this car, then I give up because they made another issue of this model, which I also took. And if you see my picture, I have more than one model, so this is not the only one that I have, just because I want to collect the type of Porsche that is, in my opinion, they became even more nicer and nicer year after year. So I want to have anyway in my collection, both as finished model in this livery and as unfinished model kit, probably to be made in another different livery, maybe a Grello car. I have no idea right now. And probably I think probably the nicest part ever on this model, in my opinion, because I like that type of job, is the decal sheet. The decal sheet provided by Alpha Model is absolutely great. It looks, this video, like just a great commercial for them, but honestly the company made very nice stuff, and their decal are absolutely really well done, ultra quality. They react immediately with all the liquids. You know, I usually fit all the parts like that little complicated area you see from the fender going to the side skirt and to the front end. I basically finish it with the, here also you can see that I finish it with this mark softener from Gunze Sangyo that really works incredibly good on the car. So all the details are taken, and you help yourself just with a little brush with a little water to make it even more softer. You just have to be careful, because there is a moment when the acid is starting to burn the decal that if you touch the decal, then you really make a damage, because then you take away the decal and the paint under. So you have to be extremely careful when you do that procedure, but it's absolutely worth. And if you notice the parts that are left over inside the model, and it is some, there is also kind of double decal set. Probably they made the model when it was first arriving on the race, you know, because some decals are quite different. So I don't know if they had different type of liveries over the Rex, you know. Also that Porsche logo there is in white with black writings, and also the opposite, so black with white writings, you know, and also the one with the red sides. So it is slightly different. It's like they made the first edition of the decal sheet and then they corrected it looking at the actual car. You know, the actual car, I think this number 80 is referred to the car racing in 2023, the first one, because then they had the same identical car with the number 77. If you Google for it, you will find the IMSA cars, and they are slightly different. The same car went in the 24 Hour of Le Mans, so it's nearly the same car every time, but not always the same identical vehicle. So you have to check little by little what car are you going to do. This is a little leftover parts, you know, for the small debris of the upcoming part when the model will be completed. Little notice is about the rear wing, which I use. This is the 3D one they made, nearly always, but not for their fault. It's because probably the models are posted, and during the postage from China, wherever you are in the world, the difference of the pressure and the temperatures make this part that are extremely thin folder extremely easy. So inside the model they provide you a 3D spoiler, which is this one that I choosed, as well as a resin one that is this one, and you just have to check which one is less folder, because I try to straighten at them. They are both still acceptable. This one I will probably take for the Tamiya kit of the gt3r RS to make something like a Mansory kit, you know, that they had on that car, that features basically the same wings of the gt3r. So it's always useful to have two. They are both acceptable, but I think the one that I take it better is the one in 3D. I recognize them because there is still in some points under that will be hidden when the model is complete. There is still, as you can see, some little pins that I didn't took away from the 3D mold. That's it. gt3r Racing. Basically, it's a fantastic model, so I just can recommend it, and try to get your one, because this is anyway stuff that if you lose when they are available, they are still anyway available on eBay, but the price raise up. You know, I was just checking when I made my 964 RWB Porsche based with the 3D kit, and Alpha Model made the entire kit completely with the body completely in one piece, and the body now I think is something for $500, so it's a little off for my wallet, honestly. This type of model, when they are produced, this is model that costs, guess, something like $150, so not more, and it is absolutely a great deal for the price that you have. Even if you have to buy from China and pay the custom and so on, you go to what, $200-$250. It is not this big issues, you know. I don't know right now in America with the new taxation that they want to apply to China, but try to find somebody maybe in Europe, or I don't know, because they're talking of also of taxation for the stuff coming from Europe, so I really don't know about in America how about for this model. But it's a must. I mean, if you like this type of model, even if they ask you extra taxes for it, but go for it, because it's absolutely worth it and deserve a very nice building. You know, this is really enjoyable. I didn't have any major issue doing this model. It's really relaxing, and for me this is very important, because this is a very stressful situation in my life right now, so I really need something that is just enjoyable and give me satisfaction to be finished. As I said, in a few hours I have to fly back to Italy, and I will not finish this model right now, so right now you will not see soon another video with the complete model and the music video that I used to do after a little while of this model, so you have to wait a little more, I guess. I hope for the middle of the summer or after the summer that the model can be finished in a new location here that I'm trying to achieve here in Sweden. So I'm saying trying to, because I really I really love when people think that other places are fantastic and everything is easy. Having the money, not talking of something that somebody have to help me, and don't ask for anybody help. Just want to take my stuff, but sometimes the rules of the places are a little bit complicated, and gets me in a little bit of the pressure. You know, I could, well, honestly, with the amount that I'm going to spend, I think I could buy nearly a real one of this one, and I prefer to buy something different, you know, because I like the place. But we will see about that. You know, I will keep you updated about my upcoming situation here. You know, that's it, guys. I once again say this is simply a fantastic model. Very, very few stuff to say. This is quite obvious stuff. This is a pleasure to work with. Thank you very much, Alpha Model, to have created such masterpiece that is simply awesome under every point of view. In one of the nicest racing kit, curbside model, of course, with no engine and blah blah blah, but absolutely one of the nicest model I've ever built, together with the Ferrari P4 that I just updated with new decals, and I would like also to make a video soon about her. And thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.